Ladies and gentlemen, my name is Bright. I'm the president of the US-UAE Business Council, and we could not be more honored and delighted to be here today to help ENEC on this their visit to the United States. We've been working with ENEC for over 10 years, or what was before ENEC, the UAE nuclear program. Yusuf Al Ambassador Al first called me. I was in the middle of teaching a class at Harvard. I like to tell this story, and with my students, and I get a call from the UAE ambassador. And of course, when Yusuf calls, you sort of drop what you're doing and you take the call. And he says, "Danny, we're gonna go after a civilian nuclear energy program in the UAE." This was in 2008 in the spring, and I said, "Yusuf, it's only been a few years since 9/11 and the deep Dubai Ports World crisis. How will the US Congress and the US government ever support a civilian nuclear energy program with the United Arab Emirates?" They will. And with your help, Danny, working with the business community and what I'm going to do on Capitol Hill and with the US government, we're going to get this done. And we did. And in December of 2009, the US Congress allowed the 123 agreement to go through. And industry. And we've been working with NEI since that time, bring, I believe it's now three different trade delegations to the UAE in the last 12 years in the nuclear. And we've worked with NEI to multiple times form the US community what ENEC needs to make their program successful going forward for the future. So couldn't be more honored to be doing that and that work. And I did sort of make light of the US government earlier, but I have friends from commerce here, very good friends from energy, and I have 20 years in the US government career as a career. So I really appreciate it. I really appreciate what my U.S. government colleagues bring to the table in partnership for this event. So thank you very much for that. Today is actually 12 years. So this couple-day period is actually Khalifa bin Zayed Al Nahyan established ENEC in December of 2009. So a round of applause for ENEC and its 12-year birthday. This last few days has also been the birthday, the anniversary, if you will, of the UAE, and it's 50 years old. And oh, what the UAE has been able to accomplish in 50 years. It's just simply amazing. This nuclear program, this civilian nuclear energy program, this gold standard, if you will, is many things the UAE has been able to do itself apart, and not only in the Middle East region, but in the broader world, a climate change, a leader with COVID response, a leader that sets an example for others to follow, which is in this day and age is a very, very important trend and thing to be doing. So we couldn't be more happy to be here, to be working with our US government friends, to be working with our NEI colleagues. I'm gonna turn the microphone over to Maria to say a few words from the floor up here on NEI's behalf, and then hopefully about that moment, Mohamed will be walking into the room. Go ahead, Maria, please.
Okay, and thank you very much, Danny, in this event. We always appreciate it. And I just opportunity for a few remarks. When Mohamed comes, I can say that the last time we were over at COP20 Scotland, and that was really an opportunity, right, for global leaders to really address and think about really what we're doing to this plan, to really think about it was just, over and over again that we were able to then hear a conversation about nuclear. And it was my first COP event, but I talked to many that have had attendance at several COP events to appreciate that this was the most conversation that had played out at a COP event relative to nuclear. And so I really take that as a positive for the fact that we are working to get the due recognition for nuclear and its benefits that it offers not only for reliability, but for the carbon emissions, if you will, worldwide, and how positive it is for the energy sector. There's really a worldwide now consensus that we have to bring our carbon emissions down to, from electricity generation close to zero by 2050. And, nuclear isn't just part of the solution. In our view, nuclear has to be in the solution set for this to be done wisely. It's really the key to making our decarbonization commitments work. And it's really the key to creating a clean energy future that we all need. And it's an opportunity for really all of our companies to engage in a multi-trillion-dollar effort to make this transition work. When I think of ENEC's records of achievements to build zero carbon nuclear energy, the UAE has really demonstrated how quickly it can happen on such a large scale. About the transition that we need to accomplish, it is actually amazing how much energy we need to create from a zero carbon source, not only in the countries that are using energy today, but in those countries that are really in energy poverty today that need to be coming forward. We want to bring them forward on these low carbon energy sources. And we've seen ENEC grow from an energy startup with just a handful of employees into a world-class nuclear energy organization with a more than 20. 2009, as you heard from Dan, ENEC completed the first 4 units 9 years later. And this year, the first 2 of those units, of course, have now started up and on the 3rd unit, a big consensus on achieving these important milestones. Applause for them. The UAE has not just demonstrated how to develop new nuclear quickly, it's also modeled how to do it right by bringing the very best talent to their nuclear industry and creating an inclusive environment for women. The standards that you've set are standards that the world, quite frankly, can be inspired to match. And here in and across the US industry, the UAE's strong nuclear energy partnership with US companies are highly valued. And as Nawah connects the fleet, we look forward to expanding these partnerships, and we appreciate the efforts here to provide US nuclear energy suppliers with more details about opportunities in the next stages of UAE's nuclear energy progress. I believe have Hammadi here. I'm thinking, I see some folks. In a few minutes, okay. Okay, so now it's up to me to keep you entertained, I guess. Excellent. I am, so thank you very much, and I will then transition over.
Thank you, Danny. Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you for being with us here today. The success story that you see with regard to, the nuclear plant in UAE wouldn't happen without your support. I see a couple of our partners actually in this meeting, and that's a good sign. Also with the help from the UAE US Business Council that supported us during the journey. So I'll take you back a little bit in background. So the UAE Peaceful Nuclear Energy Program commenced back in 2008 with the release of the UAE policy on nuclear energy. In 2009, the Emirates Nuclear Energy Corporation was formed and began to develop the Barakah nuclear plant. Breaking ground in 2012 with with the Korean Electric Power Corporation, known as KEPCO, as the prime contract. In October of 2016, ENEC have signed a joint agreement forming a long-term partnership, resulted in the establishment of two subsidiary companies. Both are majority owned by ENEC, with KEPCO being a minority stakeholder. So the companies that were established, Barakah One, which is the investment, they are the commercial company that manage the investment for this program. And we have Nawah Energy, which is the maintenance of the plants. Today, the UAE program, so somebody's conference, or is it? Yeah. Today, the UAE program is driving significant growth through the delivery of clean 24/7 electricity, creating thousands of jobs for both UAE nationals and international experts. We are also rapidly decarbonizing the UAE power sector, with the total carbon emission in Abu Dhabi Emirates forecasted to be cut by 50% in 2025, when all the 4 units at Barakah are commercially operational. I will now give you a more detailed update on the development of the Barakah project. Unit 1, we have made a great progress since we last presented back in January 2020. Despite the global pandemic, we are able to start up the unit and complete all the testing prior to starting the commercial operation in April of 2021. As for Unit 2, we started up the unit just 12 months after the Unit 1. I am pleased to confirm that we are now reaching 50% power as part of the power ascension testing, and will now continue to 100% in the preparation of the final testing prior to the commercial operation of the unit. The overall construction progress at Barakah for the whole 4 units is about 96%. We have completed all the construction of Unit 3 and will now complete all the pre-operational checks prior to the receipt of the operation license. And the Unit 4 is also progressing well in the final stages of commissioning. But as we have reached to this operation stage, it is very important for us to ensure the stability of our program and continue with the great momentum that we have built. Maintaining the Barakah plant, we have a clear mission to build local industry capabilities and support through partnership with international experts and companies to support this program going forward. We have established programs that address localization, plant support, and other areas. So when it comes to localization, we look at having local support for maintenance services, spare parts, commercial grade dedication, attraction of international nuclear partners, as well as skill development in the QA programs and upgrades, and also ensuring the supply of consumables to the plants. We already have made a lot of progress in our industrial development. As you can see, we have strong local capabilities from 2,000 UAE suppliers that have contributed to the Barakah project and have made great progress, particularly in qualifying companies for nuclear grade products and services. We are committed to contribute to building this through international partnership. Overall, we have established 5 international collaborations and facilitated 10 joint venture between Emirati and international companies. And we have great appetite to continue this approach and to capitalize on the valuable knowledge and expertise from companies and experienced nations, including the USA. Let me maybe welcome Mohamed Al Hammadi. Okay, I'll just continue and then. Yeah, if we look at the USA involvement in the delivery of Barakah, as you see, we have benefit from expertise of 200 US companies throughout the development of the Barakah project, with those companies benefiting financially from around $3 billion of contracts to date. Building the joint venture and partnership, we have particularly, we are pleased that we have established a couple of partnerships. Next slide, please. For companies that have, cooperated between Emirati companies and US companies. Some of these partnerships that have been established is between Al Bilhassa Group and U.S.A.E. With regard to training and CGD and engineering, UEC and Arsenal with regard to NQ1 consultancies, and UEG and Paragon with regard to that's CGD as well. So with all suppliers from 2020 forums have registered, and hopefully those joining us today for the first time will be looking at this opportunity and will be engaged with us through the registration. Looking forward, we are looking at different supply chain and localization area focus. We are looking to have technical and consultancy services. We are looking for commodities, providing to the plants, training of the staff, and different non-nuclear equipment and spare parts that are required for the plant. For these different opportunities, we're looking for outage services, localization, calibration services, decontamination services, and many other opportunities that we have today that will support the operation of our plant. Next slide, please. Also, next slide, please. Also, we have plant support areas of focus that we have established for our team. So we're looking for plant support facility, supply chain enablers, and training infrastructure. Different areas that we need to focus on in this area, and we have highlighted some of the requirement for our plant support area for 2022 up to 2025. Next slide. As you can see, we require support in different initiatives like the commercial grade dedication process, engineering and technical service process, outages services, maintenance and inspection services. So all these different areas that we are keen actually to get support from international experts, and we are looking that for your support in this area. And please, if you have any potential of these services that you are providing, get in touch with us. The areas that we see as being suitable for collaboration are shown in this slide. Next slide, please. Yeah, and we would appreciate any of discussion in this area from the guests, and we have our team here that will explain as well the registration process. You may have a question now on how to set up a branch in the UAE. I'm pleased to share some of the information from the Abu Dhabi Investment Office. Next slide. So basically, Abu Dhabi is a hub for international businesses, which many international companies choose the UAE to set up their regional office. We have a strong, stable economy and easy business environment, excellent infrastructure, and with over 200 nationalities residing comfortably side by side in the UAE. We have a great expat community. The Abu Dhabi Investment Office will support with information in all the licensing permit requirement, visa requirement, finance access, real estate solutions, as well as will provide market intelligence and networking. They provide also incentive for international companies that comes in different areas, whether it is financial incentives, whether it's non-financial incentives in terms of different facilitation and support in the different areas. There are a range of these financial and non-financial incentives. My team here can help you also to get in contact with representatives from Abu Dhabi Investment Office, and they can reach out via email. For us to, next slide, please. Next. Yeah. For us to know you, to know this provide, we have created a registration area. Basically, you go there to our website, you get a supplier education website, which tells you how you can register with us, what kind of services that you are providing. And once you establish that registration for any that is required at our plant, we'll be able to know you directly and participate in our tendering process. In the website, you will find all the information that is required in terms of governmental licensing and any briefs that you would like with regard to our process. And also we'll be getting the information, asking for information in terms of your expertise and the product that you are providing. All these information are available at our website, and you'll be getting the slides later, so you can also get the links from these slides. So basically, we are here today to ask you to come and be our partners, to join our program, to provide your services to us. And we look at these as a long-term partnership. As you are aware, such plant goes for 60 years in terms of operation. So thank you again for your attention, and I hope that the presentation has given you a good overview of many opportunities that we have available to our partners. And with with your support and the Emirati company support, we can help maintain and sustain our program. I'll be very happy to take any questions. Thank you.
Okay. Ladies and gentlemen, again, thanks to Ali Al-Zabi. We'll do a Q&A immediately after, but let's invite CEO Mohamed Al Hammadi to come to the stage to make some remarks. Maria, why don't you come up as well? We'll have a quick photo while Mohamed's getting ready to make his remarks, the three of us together, and then we'll call Ali back up to this stage to take questions that have been coming up. Mohamed, please, CEO of ENEC.
Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. Very honored and glad and happy to be here with you, especially after COVID and the challenge that we've had in this in everybody's life. Last time I was here was January 2020, by the way. So it's been over 2 years since last time we've met. I have to go do the formal speech now. I do apologize. So it's a pleasure to be here with you today. And also I'd like to thank our friends and colleagues, Danny Sebright and Marie Krosnick. It's also to see a lot of good friends at TED. Thank you. Good to see you, sir. Thank you for coming. And a lot of good friends here. So firstly, I would like also to thank our organizers and you to come all the way here with this with the COVID challenges. So thank you. And I was happy to see almost full house here in this room. So that shows your commitment and your interest in our program. I'm very pleased also to share with you the progress that we've done in developing Barakah nuclear power plants and the UAE Peace Nuclear Program and the development we had regardless of the pandemic of COVID 2019. In the past 2 years, we've had successfully transitioned into a multi-unit operating power plants at Barakah. We have Unit 1, it's 100% operational, generating revenue. And I've been waiting for this over 12 years, by the way. So we are very happy to see that. Unit 2 just achieved the 50% testing. So we had this Sunday, the load rejection test of Unit 2, and it did demonstrate a great quality and reliable power plant. And thanks also to this significant effort from our professional partners, we are on track to decarbonize the grid of the UAE by 50% by 2025. And this also clearly demonstrates the rapid results that our fleet of commercial units can deliver over the years. But our success is not only limited to Abu Dhabi and the UAE. Actually, our success is a global nuclear industry success. And we want to be your success story. We want to be your role model for other countries and how do we do this, how to do this right. We are committed to the high standards of nuclear safety, security, non-proliferation, and operating the power plants to high standards. And we depend on you, our partners. And actually last month, we were at the COP26, and it's great to see a fresh wind of positivity around nuclear and supporting nuclear power plants. And I would say that still in theory, we'd like to see in practical moves and how governments and nations will develop the development of nuclear power plants. Frankly, I don't see any solution of achieving the commitment 2050 or earlier without nuclear being part of that. And we are all in this room. We have to play our part and be contributing to that success for the world, to save the world and save the environment. And each one of you have their own role in that success journey. So please be as vocal as you can, be as effective as you can in promoting nuclear technology. I wish I had a video of Maria talking at the IEA event at the COP26. I was very busy, but she gave a very powerful speech there. So thank you, Maria. Energy policymakers around the world have come to the conclusion that the same conclusion that the UAE have arrived in 2007, that the only way to achieve zero emission, zero carbon is through nuclear technology being part of the mix and part of the solution. Today, we have a unique window of opportunity for us to capitalize on new growth of the civil nuclear energy programs. Now we must also ensure the sustainability of our operation at Barakah, and while also delivering the future of the UAE program. So we are also looking at R&D, clean hydrogen, SMR, among other core areas of focus. With our plants operation continue and will continue up to 2080, we're also looking for the very best companies to support us to both get expertise and knowledge to the UAE. We're also continuing building our supply chain, and also Ali Zaab has talked about the support of localization of companies by leveraging the knowledge transfer and expertise that the US companies have here. In the sense, the Barakah project will provide a condition for qualified US suppliers to partner with us in this journey, that in our nuclear power plants and the operation and maintenance of the fleet for the power plants for the next 6 years. Today, as we gather here today, I would like to celebrate the success of the agreement that we've signed, the 123 agreement with the US government, and also look forward to many years of prosperity ahead of us for the UAE and also for the US, for the excellent business and this relationship we have built and that we will have to maintain for the decades to come. And before I end, I would like to also remind the companies here that we have the first outage of Unit 1 will be in April, and that will require a lot of resources, capabilities, and expertise. So please don't hesitate to engage. We have our team here. We have Ali Zaab is leading the delegation. We have Ayman Ghafri, we have Mohamed Saleh. We have a good members of who are, their job here is to serve you and guide you through the companies and share with you the scope. And some areas, by the way, to be very blunt, we don't know what's required from a business point of view or scope point of view. So we also rely on you to give us your feedback and give us your insights. And please don't hesitate, ask us the tough questions so our team can come back to you with their answers. So anyway, again, very happy to see you. A lot of familiar faces here, and from Sergeant and Lundy and others. So I look forward to your interactions, and have a great event and great day. Thank you.
Right, ladies and gentlemen, Mr. Al-Zabi, do you want to come back up to the stage? This is all of your chance to ask questions. The briefing will be provided by ourselves and NEI to all of you later at some point, the slides. And My colleague David Greenhall is also going to make sure to monitor questions that we have online. This is a hybrid event. We have about 100 people that are supposed to be logged in today as well, and then others logging in and watching a little bit later on. So you heard the CEO, you've heard others on the delegation say this is an opportunity for American companies to engage and find out about new opportunities to do work in the UAE going forward on this important program. Ali, the floor is yours to take some questions. Not be a long-winded statement, please. Ladies and gentlemen.
I guess I'll start just to kind of give the audience a chance. He mentioned that you're headed into your first. Hi, Maria Korsnick with NEI. He mentioned that you're headed into your first refueling outage next year. And I was just wondering, perhaps, at a high level, do you have an idea of some of the scope, given that it's your first one? Will you inspect steam generators, for example, or that kind of thing? I know there's a lot of different services that are provided by folks. Just maybe any unique scope, perhaps, that you have, if you're familiar with that.
Yeah, I mean, the technicality of the scope actually it's with our operation team, but basically they have a couple of services that they will require. I mean, like any nuclear plant that is, goes through the outages. So I think the majority of the service that are required for even US nuclear, outages is the same service type of services. I don't have specific of these requirements, more with our operation team. Yeah. But we can get you more information if you require that. Sure. Yeah, go ahead.
Yes, well, so in the next 12 months, maybe you can. Oh, sorry, Roger Aurora with Jensen Hughes. In the next 12 months, what's the most important priority for you, and what's causing you the biggest headache?
Yeah, I mean, the outage is one of these priorities. The outage is in Unit 1, because basically this is our first outage, and there is a certain requirement, demand from our stakeholder, and when to get off and when to get back to the grid, because there is a requirement for the power. As well as, as I showed you in the presentation, we are getting, toward 100% and commercial operation of Unit 2. So all this, coordination of this complex, I would say, project timing, it is, kind of, giving us the focus. And this is why we're reaching out to all these, different service provider. Tell us what you have, what kind of service you provide. The more that we can bring to the picture, that will help us go, sail smoothly through the outage. Sure.
One question I did have is, I know there was lots of discussion on SMRs in the UAE previously. I know you guys have your hands full right now finishing the units, but is there a timeline? I know there was discussion on, potentially, SMR deployments for, water and stuff like that. Any thoughts on that still, or?
Yeah, actually, you should have asked the guy who just went, our CEO. I mean, these are still plans and, let's say, a high-level type of discussion that we're having, but we're exploring, the different areas and the different technology that, yeah.
Yeah, the desalinization.
Correct. Correct.
Don Vanover, Jensen Hughes. On your list of initiatives that you had indicated, I didn't see anything about risk-informed applications. Is there any plans in the long run to take advantage of some of the risk-informed initiatives that are out there, like extending test intervals or alternate categorization of SSCs, anything like that?
I mean, there's different, but I think there's more goes to our, CNO, Chief Nuclear Operator, Officer, in terms of the different plans that they have. And I think these are a good area of discussion. Maybe we can get, linked with our team there in terms of operation and whatever plans that they have in that area.
Localization focus. So many of the plants in the U.S. utilize a lot of different companies to bring in do the same thing?
Yeah, actually,
Bring it local or are you looking at?
actually we're getting kind of international agreements, but also we're trying to link them with local suppliers to make sure that it is faster for them to deploy these resources whenever it is required. So basically, it is like a partnership that they're getting established between international experts as well as local suppliers.
What is the scope of the AI digitization?
Yeah, actually, that question I'll push it to Yasser there. He's responsible for that area.
So we do have a full scope of digitization, digital initiatives. Some are to be deployed within a corporate level initiatives, and others are plant related. We actually started to have a proof of concept on some of the engineering and in the maintenance area, monitoring the equipment reliability, equipment health, and this is how we are intending to embark the artificial intelligence and the digital world.
Hi, thank you for your words. Wendy Simon-Pearson, Ultrasafe Nuclear. We've heard you mention both SMRs and hydrogen production, and we're very interested in whether you're looking at synergies between the two and potential other advanced reactor designs for production thereof.
Sure. And again, I think this question goes back. We'll give you the information on this area. It's more like the CEO have the insight in terms of the SMR and the hydrogen production, but I know it's coming up in terms of discussions.
I have a question here from the virtual audience asking if has plans for additional units outside of the current 4 in the future. She apologizes if she misses this, the original answer.
Yeah, I mean, in terms of future plant, I mean, as I'm not sure if you are aware, the current Barakah plant, the area that we have established, the 4 unit can cope up to 8 units. But basically, the current demand that have been established is it's for 4 units, but we can build up to 8 units in the same location that we have the current Barakah plants. So if the demand shoot up and there is an additional requirement, yes, definitely we can start the construction of subsequent plants.
Excuse me, Chris Wood from Urenco. I noticed on the localization slide that one of the areas of emphasis was the construction of certain front end and back end fuel facilities. I was just wondering if you could give a little more detail on what sorts of facilities were being considered.
Yeah. In terms of the fuel fabrication, we are more to the pelletize, getting the pellets into the fuel rod. Rather, it's not the what you call it, the term. What's the term? It's not the enrichment. Yeah, it's not the enrichment part. It's only the back end of the process, basically, to be able to manage our efficiency in terms of operation. Because I mean, earlier our strategy was more focused in terms of stocking these fuel assemblies, but then we have noticed that because of the operation requirement, we may require to shut down, and that brings some kind of inefficiency. So if we can control the, let's say, the supply of the back end of the fuel, that will help us a lot.
done introductions before, but I imagine there may be some questions that people would like to pose individually of your colleagues. So would it be worth perhaps individually flagging some of the people on the team who are responsible for different things so that people might be able to find each other after the event concludes as well?
Okay, so first I have Mohamed Saleh is from our team. Mohamed is the procurement supply chain director. So basically, all the registration that process is with Mohamed. So if you are interested in registering your services, your company, giving us our profile, he will be there to help you. And then I have in my team also Ayman Al Ghafri. So he's our business and asset development director. He can link you with local suppliers, link you with the Abu Dhabi investment office, and make sure whatever you need to establish your presence in Abu Dhabi, you can reach to Ayman.
Call to our virtual audience if they'd like to ask any questions.
Currently, in our program, we have received multiple, let's say, visit requests. People are interested to see, the achievement that we have done within Barakah, and all these different, let's say, visit. People are interested in getting into the nuclear program. So we show them our policy. We show them how we did it, in terms of the right or the golden model that you can say in terms of approaching this. And that is, how we, approach this. If there is any requirement of support or help, we are there as well in the region.
From the virtual audience related to any plans or studies related to thorium-related nuclear and uranium alternatives research.
Sorry, could you repeat that question?
There's a question if you have any plans or studies to deploy thorium-related nuclear and uranium alternatives research.
Yeah, currently that's not in our plan.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Yeah, please.
Yes, I can hear. Thank you for the question, and thank you for providing our simulators. So basically, I think in the UAE, as I've highlighted earlier, maybe in my presentation, is that I think it's the culture that we have within the UAE. Basically, we have multiple, nationalities within the UAE. We have good support from the government, as well as the different partnership, and actually people around the world wanted this program to succeed. Everywhere we have addressed our program or the need of our program, we got international support, because the nuclear community want this program to succeed, to bring that, what I say, the renaissance of nuclear coming back to to the world. I think all the help, all the coordination, all the commitment, and some of the strategy that we have that taken in terms of our UAE policy toward the nuclear energy, that helped us a lot to move forward.
Question from online, with apologies for potentially joining late and missing the answer, but has the UAE considered the employment of advanced reactor designs such as microreactors to meet its increasing electrical demands.
I'm not aware of that, actually, that any study in that area. No.
Questions virtually at this point. So if there's no questions for anyone in the room, then I hand over the floor to you, of course.
Thank you. Thank you very much. Thank you.
So this brings us to the conclusion of today's event. Maria, would you like to just say a welcome goodbye? And there's a few companies that have some prearranged meetings. Those will occur in the room to the left over there. And if you have any questions, please come see me.
Well, great. Thank you. I think, you know, we're obviously already off to a very good start with all the relationships that we have in the room, the great success of the ENEC story. And I just wish all of you a great opportunity to actually talk here in person and to meet and greet for something that we haven't been able to do, obviously, for many, many months. So just a warm welcome and thank you for attending today. And please continue the conversation with the networking opportunities that follow. Thank you.